What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my How to Build a Gaming PC series, and this is going to be episode 3, where we're going to install the RAM. We're going to do the RAM, and then we will do also the storage. So we got the solid state drive, and then we got the other hard drive. So that's what we're going to do in this episode. And for starters, you want to look into the big instruction book that came with your motherboard to see how like it recommends that you install it to install the RAM. And this one, as you could see, you got, if you were to use just one, then you would just put it in this first slot and that'd be it. But I have 4, so this is how you would do it. Well, this is how it's recommending. If you had 2, you would do the first slot, so this first red slot, and then the second one would go into this second red slot instead of the first black slot over here. But since I have 4, what it's basically saying is that you would go, I would put in the first one here, second one here, then the third one here, and fourth one here. Now, also, I heard that when you're installing the RAM, that you want to have the RAM like serial number in order from smallest to biggest. So, and I guess that affects performance a little bit, not by a lot. So, but I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to try. So, that's what we're gonna do. And in the box, it comes. Yeah, they're already in order, so don't have to worry about that. We'll start off from this one going first, and this one, then we'll go back to that side. So that's that, and so we're gonna open up this, the RAM, and we're gonna start putting it on. So this is a fairly easy task, really, as long as you don't screw anything up, which you shouldn't, because it's not that hard. So we're gonna open this up without having anything popping off. And here we got this, and this is just like the little card in between. So we got both RAMs here. So this one is going to be the first one. So I'm going to take that out without, of course, trying to break anything. And again, with these, you probably want to avoid touching the bottom part, just so you don't ruin anything. And these, along, just like the CPU head, these have a little notch right there that you want to make sure you align with the notches that are here. I'm not sure if you could see them, but there's notches right here just that go straight across. So this one, we're going to open this up. I'm just going to open all of these just so I don't have to do it later. But just push them down and they'll open. And when you put them in, then these should close automatically as soon as it's in properly. So I'm going to align these notches and that side. You want to push down with even pressure. You don't want to push down one side and then the other side. So I'm just going to go like this. And I believe that it's in. Oh, there we go. There's the click. And that's clicked in place. So we're good. The first one's in. Now we're going to take the second one. And we're going to do the same thing with this one as we did with the other one. just gonna align it with the notch. And again, I'm just gonna follow the order that the motherboard user guide suggests, because I guess, yeah, it's just the recommended configurations. You could do it like whatever way you want, but I guess that's just the way that they recommend you put in your RAM, so whatever. Alright, so that's clicked in too. So we got those two. Now we're gonna go over to the other side. Take this, oops, that we probably don't need, but we'll keep anyway. What do we have here? Nice, we got a little sticker that came with. Okay. We'll put that somewhere. And then we'll go with the next one. So here's the next one. And we're going to do the same thing as we did with the other ones. Just make sure these are all open. Align these up. Align these with notches. And just push down. These might be a little harder since you already got these two. So just push at both ends. And you should hear it click in place. Yup, that one closed, so you're good with that. And then the final one, same thing. Align the edges. That latch is open, so we're good. Oh wait. Should probably align that side too. There we go. Push down. There we go. Alright, so that's all in. That's just pretty simple. That's how you do the RAM. And you'll probably have to connect, well, when we do the power supply, then you'll have a bunch of wires coming through. But for now, that's all you gotta do to the motherboard. And then when we're about to do the hard drives, the solid slate drive, this one is, I'm pretty sure it's the 2.5 inch one. And these bays, all of these are for hard drives, but these are they're all 3.5 inches. So this one is gonna fit just fine in it. But this one we're gonna have to screw down. I'm not sure if you could see, but like there's screw holes here for smaller ones. That's what we're gonna do with the hard drive. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be easier for you guys to see it like this, or if I should stand it up. But I'll figure that out right now. Alright, and I'm back, and I've decided that you guys are gonna be able to see it just fine like this. And so what we're gonna do first, we're gonna first do the 3.5 inch, the 3 terabyte one, and I'm gonna use up these this one, like the very bottom one, and then this one third from the bottom. Now the reason I did that is because it's gonna be colder on the bottom, or cooler on the bottom. But also the reason I spaced them out is so that these fans still have enough like room for to provide all the airflow to the rest of the computer without really having the hard drives block it all off. So that's why I wanted to space them out. And the reason I didn't have to stand the case up in order to show you guys is because to install the hard drive, you basically just take out these metal pieces that are here, and I think there's 10. Yeah, there's 10 or 36. Yeah, I think, yeah. So there's a lot. So if you really wanted to expand, then you could easily do that. But I don't know if you would want to put in up to 10 hard drives in there, but So you take it out basically, and if you got the 3.5 inch, then you are going to put a screw or use these holes. And if you're going to be putting in the 2.5 inch, which we're going to do later, or right after this one, we're going to use these holes right here. So, and you want to, this is the hard drive, the 3 terabyte one. And you would want to line up these screw holes here, these with the ones that I just showed you on here, this one. And I want to have the parts where I have to plug in data cables to, I want to have them facing up this way, because as I'm looking at it now, it doesn't look like there's a way that I could have them come down and underneath. If there is a way, then I'll switch them, but for now we're just going to have them face up. So when you're lining these up, here they are. Probably easier to see from the bottom to line them up, and they seem lined up now. I don't know if you could see them, but you could see little silver parts up inside. That's where the screw hole is. And then for the screws that you're going to use, the huge the booklet that came with the case and the screws that came with the case, you're going to be looking for this. And we're doing right now a 3.5 inch HHD. So we're going to be using screw F, and I got 4 of those. They're pretty. They're not huge, but they're a decent size, so that's not bad. And then we're going to screw that in, and then once we screw the hard drive onto this metal piece, then all we got to do is slide it back in, and it should be good to go. Other than obviously plugging in the SATA cables, but so I'm just gonna line up these screws here, just push them in, and these there's little rubber pieces on the outside you could see, so that way you can't really like over tighten the screws. And my screwdriver disappeared. Here it is. So just going to screw that in, and I'm not sure if that's going anywhere. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Now it's going in. Screw it in. And again, these little rubber pieces are going to prevent it from really over screwing it or over tightening it, so you don't have to worry about that one as much. I mean, you still want to make sure you don't over screw it, but. And this one, I don't know if it's not lined up or. Oh, there we go. And the screw fell out. Alright, that's going in. And then when you finish doing that, which shouldn't take too long, screw that in. You could just slide it back in just as you took it out, and it shouldn't move. If it does, then you either screwed it in wrong or the actual metal piece isn't in place correctly. But I don't know if it's just my case that has these metal pieces here to hold the hard drive in, but because I know some cases you actually have it, like you can't take the metal pieces out, you just screw it right in. But I'm not sure. So we got the last screw here. It's going in. So we got this all screwed on now, And all we're gonna do is just slide it down into place. And first, before you actually slide it down, you want to make sure it's all tight. It's not like falling out or anything, because you don't want to slide it in and then it just falls out. So, and then you just slide it back into where you got it. They're back at the same place you got it. And you should hear a click. There we go. So now it's in. And now we're going to take the 2.5 inch, which is still in its little bag like that. Small little bag, nothing too big. Open that up. And for these, or for this one, we're going to use, since it's a 2.58 solid slate drive, 2.5 inch, we're going to use screw C. And it looks kind of like that, so I took out 4 of those. And we're going to use the same idea. Basically, we're going to have to take out the little metal piece out of there, out of the case. And this one looks pretty nice. It's got a nice finish to it, Intel. And here you got all the information, 240 gigs. So, here are the screws. These are a lot smaller than the other ones were. So, unless I picked out the wrong screws, but what are the chances of that? So same idea, pull that out. Gotta line up the holes. And these are all lined up. See, now they're all lined up. It's easier just to see from the bottom now that they're lined up. You could get the screws from here and screw these in one by one. Now, the other hard drive that we just did, the 3.5 inch one, that one did come with its own screws. However, the reason that it probably wouldn't have worked, I didn't try, but the screws were a lot smaller than the screws that came with the case. Those screws were a lot smaller, so I don't think it would be able to screw in because of the little rubber pieces that prevented the screw from being over or tightened too much. So that's why I didn't try it. I just went with the screws that came with the case because they just look too small. Or the screws that the hard drive came with look too small. And I dropped the screw. And I dropped the screw again. And since these screws are a lot smaller, it might be a little bit tougher to screw this one in, but once you get the first two, you should have all the other ones lined up to be just fine. Don't want to over tighten it. Last two. Screw this one in. And like I said, on I think it was episode 1, on this solid slate one, I'm probably gonna just run my operating system, which I decided will be Windows 7. I think it's Windows 7 Professional or something like that. Because there's a Windows 7 Home Premium or a Home. I think that's the basic one, and I think Professional is the second one, like the middle one, and then Windows 7 Ultimate is the best one, but I don't know. So you could tell that it doesn't take up the whole bracket. You got like probably about ½ inch on each side, so that's not a big deal. Just make sure it's nice and screwed on tight. It's not going to fall out or anything. And then my cable or like the where you plug in the SATA cables and everything, that's all over here. So that's good, it's facing up, and then I'm going to just slide this one back into place too. And make sure the metal brackets click. And when they click, then it should be good. And it shouldn't slide out, see? So that's good. And if you really wanted to, you could, there's a bunch more space for you to upgrade and add a bunch more hard drives. But if you didn't want to use all of those, then I'm pretty sure you could just as easily take them. You could just take all the extra ones out, and it would just improve the airflow. So that wouldn't be too big of an issue. And now we're gonna plug in the SATA cables that go from the hard drives into the motherboard, which go in right here, these red ones. And those cables are somewhere here. I'm gonna find them right now. Alright, so I'm back, and what I've decided to do, before I said how, because this is the back of the case. If you open up the other panel, the back panel, you open it the same way, just unscrew it and pull back and then up. And so this is the back of it. And what I did is earlier I said that I would have the hard drives have the SATA cable plugins facing the front of it, so like that way. But I decided now to flip it, so it's going to be facing towards the back panel. And as you can see, they're right there. So that's the 3 terabyte one. That's the solid slate one. And so now that they're facing back here, because I didn't realize that it was open back here, so that I would be able to pass them through all these. But these cables are they're in there. They're not plugged in yet, but these are from up here, like USB and power and all that good stuff. So that's all up there. So that I'm gonna have to plug in later. But anyway, so that's that. And so what I'm gonna have to do is have it zoomed in like that. That cable's gonna be in the way from the fan. But that's that. And right here you got your SATA cable. It's not that long. It's maybe 1.5 feet, if even that, maybe 2. But so what you want to plug in, there's a little pattern right there. Hold on. Maybe pull it back a little bit. But you could see that it kind of, there's a little tooth right there that dips down. And so you're going to match that with this one. You could see that over here comes down a little bit past. Have it focus. You could see that a little bit. It comes down a little bit. So that's where you want to match it with the cable. And so I'm going to plug it in like that. And I'm going to do this hard drive first, and I'll go back to the other one. So you heard it click in. This part clicked in. I don't know if you heard it, but I heard it. So we know that that's in. And then this is going to be for the power, or right here for some hard drives, but I believe it's here. And so now what I'm going to do, there's that, and the cable's about that long, so that's about 1.5 feet. And what I'm going to have it do now is I'm going to have it pass through the back, so that way it's going to be a lot cleaner inside. There's going to be a lot better inflow or flow of air in there. And I'm going to have it pass through this one, because the motherboard is right here, and the SATA cables, where you plug it into the motherboard, the SATA cables are like right here. So this is like the perfect place. So then I don't know if I'm gonna like tuck it in, but for now I'll just leave it out in the open. I might end up putting it like maybe behind these cables or something, but for now I'm just gonna stick it in there. and then we'll get to that later. But now I'm gonna grab another SATA cable, which the motherboard came with. I think it came with 8, and some of them are like a little L shaped, just so maybe if it's in like a tight space. But since I have a lot of space actually here, so I'm just gonna use the normal straight one. And so same deal goes for this one. You're gonna match up the little tooth on this cable with, there we go. See, now I have it upside down, but you can see it kind of dips down. And I'm gonna match it with that on the solid slate drive. So it's gonna be like this, and it clicks. And again, I'm just gonna let it go out here for now, and I'm gonna put it into that little whatever, I don't even know what it's called, but I'm gonna put it in there. And then now I'm gonna just rotate the whole computer case, and that's the front panel. So as you can see, the hard drives, they're flipped, so they're right there. So they're still on the bottom, but I just flipped them, like, so I had to unscrew it. And so then you could see that the cables are right there. We have these two, and you just plug them in into, I think there's 2 of them on each one, so there's 10. So that's a perfect amount if I was to upgrade all of these and fill them all up, but probably not. Well, not anytime soon anyway. And so the same idea goes here. You want to make sure that you match up. I don't know if you could get a good view of that. You want to make sure you get that tooth matched up with the same one on the SATA cable. So I'm going to grab just one of them. I mean, I probably should remember which one is which, but if anything, I'll just go back and change it later. And we're just going to plug it in. Actually, I might have to push it back a little bit. So there's that. And then plug it in. There's that click. Then we're going to take the second one and do the same thing. Make sure the teeth are all lined up with. Actually, it might not fit below it, so I'm just going to do the one. I was going to plug it into the one that's behind this one, but I don't think it'll fit, so I'm just going to go with the one that's right here, right next to it. That one clicked, and we're all good. And then at the end, when we got like the power supply and everything all set up right here, then we're gonna have a bunch of cables going in and out of this place. So that's when we're gonna need like cable ties from or zip ties, and tie them all in the back. So it's gonna be fun. That episode's gonna be fun. The power supply. But yeah, that's all for this episode, and I'm about to go read the manual, but I'm just wondering if it matters if I plugged in, or where I plug in the SATA cables. So yeah, that's that. So if you guys enjoyed the video, click the like button. If you guys want to see more, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.